Hello everyone, another new video here today. I'm not doing bad at getting these out there at the moment, and this video is purely going to be from the brown couch, and it's going to be mainly about Game Boy games, well, Game Boy Advance games, and more specifically there's quite a few pinball games here to show you. So without further ado, I shall show you the first game. And it's a Japanese copy of King of the Fighters Neo Blood EX. Japanese copy. I've got quite into collecting Japanese Game Boy Advance games, and I am going to try and buy one at least a month. I do like the artwork on quite a lot of the Japanese games, and it's a hell of a lot cheaper to collect for than the SNES. So I'm going to look at it kind of like that, really. And really nice full colour manual on this one. I don't know how this compares to the PAL version, but I mean, as always, kind of Neo Geo always kind of pull all the stops out when it comes to the artwork in their games, and this one's no exception. And really cheap. This less than £10, and a lot of the kind of Japanese imports you can get for that. As per usual, there are the expensive ones, and I have had a quick blast on this one, and it plays quite well actually. Really impressed with the size of the roster of the characters. It looks great, and I really like that Game Boy D-pad for playing games with as well, so great addition to the collection, this one. Next game I'm going to show you is a game I've had my eye on for a while, and it's there we go. It's Cyberdrive Zoids, sorry, on another Japanese Game Boy game. This one's an exclusive to Japan, and it's a bit of a it's like a turn-based action game. I think it's got role-playing elements to it. Completely not unplayable if you don't understand Japanese. So a bit of a pointless purchase, but it was cheap and I like the artwork. And as you'll see in this one, there's a bit of an unusual item in there. Manual's quite nice on this too. I used to collect Zoids when I was younger, and one of the characters, yeah, I'm familiar with them. I find it quite interesting that in Japan there's obviously some kind of following still of the game, of the models, when over here it was I think it was quite a short-lived fad or trend even. This appears to have some kind of there we go. That looks like, I believe it's a wireless Game Boy Advance Game Gear. So Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance GameCube adapter. It probably links the two consoles together somehow. Not quite sure what that is, but I can have a look online. Another Japanese game here to show you, and it's Castlevania Circle of the Moon. Wow. Japanese artwork on Castlevania is always impressive, and this one's no exception really. Still relatively cheap. I believe the Japanese version sells probably for more than the UK version, because the UK version's dirt cheap. But still, this was a good price really. And all these Japanese games are complete. So I've got some quite nice artwork in this one. I did like Circle of the Moon actually. There were bits of it that I kind of struggled with, just because I got to a hard bit and left the game a couple of times, and never really went back to it, and then kind of started all over again. But nevertheless, it's a very good game, and that was a worthy addition. I think it was only about 15 quid that, so that was cool. Okay, the first pinball game I'm going to show you. Another Japanese, there we go, Game Boy Advance title, and it's Pokemon Pinball. Never been a fan of Pokemon, to be honest. Never against it, but never a big fan. Quite an interesting game of pinball, actually. Nintendo seems to kind of like mix up their characters and pinball tables quite well. And again, I had a quick go on this one, and it is quite a cool little pinball game. It's got 2 tables on it, and there's lots of kind of animation and sub games and quite nicely designed tables. I think I've seen them described as it's quite plain, but there's plenty to do, and yeah, so I was very impressed with that. Did get a PAL release. And another there we go, pinball game, Pinball The Dead. Now this is a PAL version. Interestingly, this is quite a short print run, and it's a bit tricky to get, really. A decent price anyway. Cost me less than £10, so I was very happy with this. Really good pinball game. The medium kind of transfers over really well, and as per usual, we've got a lovely black and white manual here, but there's loads and loads to do in a way that they're kind of like the game's themed. It's almost like I don't know, it reminded me of Devil's Crush, or is it Alien Crush? It's one of the two. Yeah, again, lots to do. Lots of little zombies walking around the pinball table. Quite an unwell known one. I do actually quite interesting in case Japanese, but again, it's quite uncommon in Japan. Interestingly, you can get the American version really cheaply. It's just the PAL one that's kind of ultra rare. But as I say, I'm really into me pinball games, and really pleased to get this for that price, really. Next game I'm going to show you is Rock and Roll Racing. Big fan of the SNES game, and it came out on the Game Boy Advance as well. Exactly the same. Picked this up. It's a brand new copy, actually. Picked it up for $2.99 from Amazon, and what more can be said that hasn't been said about this before? I absolutely love those isometric racing games, and for me this is one of the best ones. And yeah, plays great, lots of power-up weapons, lots of levels, lots of game full stop to work through, and dirt cheap as well. Great pick-up, that one. And last but not least is a game I picked up on import. I believe this is a US only release, this one as well, and it's Capcom Classics Mini Mix. Capcom went through a phase at one point of just releasing these amazing compilations, and this is no different, really. Capcom could have released this on the Game Boy Advance, and they could have just released the same old games that they kind of do release on compilations. That's to no detriment to them. But they picked 3 games from the NES back catalogue to put on this set, and a couple of not particularly rare games, but kind of more less played maybe. And so what do you actually get on here? We have got a nice part of the Baronet Commando NES version. the NES version of Strider, which is certainly interesting. I believe it's based on the actual the comic book series rather than the arcade game. Yeah, I think saying that the arcade game is based on the comic book series, but quite loosely, whereas this kind of follows the comic book quite closely, I believe, plot-wise. And the last game I'm going to mention is there we go, Mighty Final Fight, which is a game I've never really ever played before, and I think that one is a bit of a toughie to find on the NES, thinking about it. And it plays like just a perfect, super deformed version of Final Fight. Really, lots of humour, lots of taking the mickey out of Final Fight itself, the game that it came from, really. And yeah, just a really fun little beat 'em up. It's a genre that kind of not very popular at the moment, but one that I actually do quite love, and this kind of really took me back. Full colour manual, which is surprising. I mean, no great piece of artwork in there, but that's quite nice. There's a general cheap feeling to the game itself. I'm I'm wondering if it is a bootleg, but I'm not quite sure, to be honest. But to be honest, I don't give a shit. So I don't think it is, actually. Thinking about it, there's little telltale things, but it was very, very cheap, and the 3 games on it are really, really cool. So that's it for this video. As I said, this is going to be like a trend I carry on. I've got a couple of Japanese games on the way. If you've seen my videos before, you know I really like kind of stuff, not just the games themselves, which is an important part of collecting. Some of it is about the artwork, and some of these Japanese collecting will be just purely buying the games for the artwork, and to look nice on my shelves, and just have just a bit of an experimental look around some of these games that you don't tend to see that much in the West. So yeah, that's another little project I've got in the way, as well as the millions of other projects. So it's funny, I've bought quite a few handheld games recently, so there might be a odds and sods video coming up that's got some DS and PSP games on there, because I've picked up quite a few. But for now, thank you for watching this Game Boy Advance special, I suppose, and I'll see you all later. Thank you very much. Goodbye.